Good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll continue with our series CAT 2025 Target 99 plus percentile. We'll be looking at LRDI basics, and this is part 3 of this series. So, let's look at today's set. So, today's set is basically a DI set, which is based on, you can call it scheduling or timeline or how project development happens. Okay. So the adjacent figure shows the schedule of 4 employees, A, B, D, and T, whom D supervised in 2020. Altogether, there were 5 projects in which they were involved that started and concluded in 2020. For each of these projects and for each employee, the starting day was at the beginning of a month and the concluding day was at the end of a month. And these are indicated by the left and right endpoints of the corresponding horizontal bars. The number within each bar indicates the percentage of assigned work completed by the employee for that project as assessed by D. So, if we look at the last statement, this mentions something. So, it mentions that, for example, if I look at project 1 and it says 100%, so this is the number or the percentage that is that it indicates that it was the assigned work completed by the employee. So A was assigned whatever work. A was able to complete 100% of the work starting with 1st February until 31st of March. So every project or every assigned work, it started at the beginning of a particular month and it ends at the end of a particular month, where the months may not be same. The project may continue for over a month. Similarly, if I look at project 3 and if you look at B, B completed 75% of the total work starting with 1st of April until 31st of July. So having understood what this timeline or the scheduling part denotes, let's go ahead and look at the questions. Okay, before that, we have some more information. For each employee, his or her total project month in 2020 is the sum of the number of months she or he has worked across the 5 projects with his or her annual completion index is the weighted average of the completion percentages assigned from different projects, with the weights being the corresponding number of months he or she has worked for in these projects. Let's understand this with an example. So if I talk about A's project month, let's call it PM. This is the sum of the number of months she worked across the 5 projects. So A worked for 2 months in project 1. Then A worked for 2 months in project 3. So it was 0 in project 2, 2 months for project 3. For project 4, this is a total of 5 months. And for project 5, it's again 0, right? While his or her annual completion index, so annual completion index, let's call this as ACI, is the weighted average of the completion percentages assigned from the different projects, with the weights being the corresponding number of months he or she has worked for in these projects. So if I want to calculate ACI of A, we will say that A has completed 100% of the work in those 2 months. Second month did not do anything. Then it's going to be 100% of the work in the third month, which in the third project, which took 2 months. Then it's going to be 80% of the work completed in those 5 months divided by, since this is a weighted average and the weights being the corresponding number of months she or he has worked in that. So 2 plus 2 plus 5. So this is going to be 4 plus 4, 800% divided by 9, which is going to give us 88.88%. So basically, if you look at A has completed overall 88.88% of all the works for every month, right? Next. So this was as per the person. Now, for each project, so if I pick up a project, let's say if I pick up project 1, the total employee month, so total employee month, let's call this as TEM, is the sum of the number of months for which 4 employees worked in this project. While its completion index, so we have got completion index for that also, sum of the number of months for which 4 employees worked. So A worked for 2 months, B worked for 2 months, and T worked for 2 months. So this is going to be overall 6 here. Person wise, it was 9. While its completion index, so this is going to be completion index of a project, is the weighted average of the completion percentages assigned for the employees who worked in this project, with the weights being the corresponding number of months they worked for in this project. So basically, if I look at completion index of project 1, it's going to be 100% was completed in 2 months by A, 100% of the work assigned to B was completed in the next 2 months, and 80% of the project was completed by T in those 2 months, divided by the weights being the corresponding months taken up by those employees, which is going to be 2 plus 2 plus 2. So this is going to be 400 plus 160, so 560 divided by 6 percentage. So this is going to be 280 divided by 3 percentage. So this is going to be 91.33 percentage. Sorry, 93.33, not 91.33. So having understood what do we understand by employee was project month and project wise total employee month, and then annual completion index of an employee, while the completion index as per the perspective from a project. Once you have understood these 4 things, now we are ready to answer questions. The first one, which of the following statements is or are true? The total project month was the same for 4 employees. So if I look at A, employees project month, so A worked for 2 months, another 2, and then it was a total of 5. So that's 9. If you look at B, it was 2, then 0, and then 4, and then 3. This is also 9. If you look at C, sorry, not C, it's D. So Dani. So it was 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. 3, 3, 2, and 1. So this is also 9. And if you look at T, it was 2 and 2 and 3 and 2, which is again 9. So this is true. First one is true. So A option is wrong, B option is wrong. Now between C and D, we need to figure out if second statement is true or not. Now, the total employee month was the same for all the 5 projects. So if you look at project 1 now, it was completed in 6 months. If you look at project 2 now, it was completed in only 5 months. So definitely right now we can see that for 2 projects, it definitely is not same. So C is wrong and D becomes our answer. Let's move to the next question. Employees did not work in multiple projects for any of the months in 2020. So this question is basically saying that if you look at the month of, let's say, March, okay, so was there an employee who worked in different projects in the same month? Okay, we need to find out such employees who did not do that. So if I look at A worked in the month of February and March, then worked in the month of May and June, and then worked in the month of July, August, September, October, and November. So A is definitely that person who did not work in multiple projects for any of the months. So C is ruled out. Now, if you look at option A, B, and D, A, Abani and Bahani, they both are present in all 3. So it's going to be a wastage of time to check for B. Let's check for D. So if you look at D, D worked in the month of February, March, April, and then there is going to be June, July, August. So there is no overlapping for D. So D is also true. Now between these 2, we have to look at T, Tini. So there is no overlapping until the month of August. In the month of September, we can see that there is an overlap. So T did work for multiple projects in the month of September. So it's not all 4 of them. It's going to be option D. Let's look at the next question now. The project duration measured in terms of the number of months is the time during which at least one employee worked in the project. Which of the following pairs of the project had the same duration? So basically, the question is saying that if you look at project one, this project timeline was for the entire 3 months. If you look at project two, we can see that the timeline was for, sorry, not 2 months. This is also 2 months. If you look at project three, this stretched on for a total of 5 months. If you look at project four, it stretched out for 5 months. And if you look at project five, it stretched on for 4 months. So basically, we need to find out which pair had the same duration. 3 and 5, no. 1 and 5, no. 4 and 5, no. 3 and 4, yes. Each of these two projects, they went on for 5 months each. Let's look at the next problem. The list of employees in decreasing order of annual completion index is. So annual completion index of an employee is given as the percentage of completion, the percentage of work they were given and they completed into the number of months they worked. Sum of all of this divided by number of months. So if you look at the options, we can see that we should not check for A as the highest. So A is not going to be the highest. So we have to look between D, B, and T. So let's do one thing. We'll have to check for at least 3. So let's start with A. So for A, we have already calculated it, right? By taking an example, let's do it again. So this is basically, I'm not writing percentage, I'm ignoring percentage. I'm only writing the magnitude of that percentage value. So 100 for 2 months, then again it was 100 for 2 months, and then it was 80 for 5 months divided by 9. So this turns out to be 400 plus 400, 800 by 9, which is going to give us 88.88. So I'll put percentage at the end, won't make any difference. Now, if I look at B, this was 100 for 2 months, and then it was 75 for 4 months, and then it was 90 for 3 months, divided by 2 plus 4 plus 3, which is another 9. So this is going to be 75 into 4 is 300 plus 200, 500. 500 plus 90 into 3 is 270. So this is 770 by 9. So from here, we can definitely say that it is less than 88.88. How much is that? So 9 into 8 is 72. Then we're left with 50. So this is going to be 855.55. So between, sorry, 85.55. So between A and B, we can see A is larger. So A should be written to the left of B because it's in decreasing order. So A is to the right of B. A cannot be our option. B cannot be our correct option. It's either C or D. Now, between these two, we can see that we have to check between D and T anyways, right? So let's check for D now. So for D, it is going to be 90 into 3 plus 100 into 3 for project 3. Then it is 100 into 2 for project 4. And then it is 100 into 1 for project 5. And 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 9. So it's throughout 9. So basically, we have seen that the number of months everyone has worked is 9. So that's why we are getting 9 all the time. So basically, we have to only compare the numerators, right? It would have definitely decreased the time we are taking to solve this. So since we have understood that it will work just fine, so I'm going to remove this 9 and all these numbers. We are only going to look at the numerator part. So this is going to be 270 plus 300, which is 570. 570 plus 300, which is going to be 870. So obviously D is more than A. Let's look at T now. So for T, it is going to be 80 into 2. Then again, it's going to be 100 into 2. Then it is going to be 100 into 3 plus 2, right? So this is 100 into 5. Same thing. And this is going to be a 9. So ignoring that. So this is 500 plus 200, 700, 700 plus 160, which is 860. So T loses by a very small margin. So D is more than T. So C becomes our answer. So you can see that this set may be completely new to us, and there were some of the formulas or some of the logical interpretation that was given in the stem of the set, which were irrelevant. Not all of those were used. We only used the project month of a person and the ACI of a person. We did not get into project wise the total employee month and the completion percentages, right? Or the completion index. So when you come across such a set in the exam, which is completely new to you, you should not straight away eliminate or ignore it. You should definitely give it a try. Maybe it's going to be easy, because the people at CAT, they know that if a set is completely new, they have never provided such a set, and it's not very common in real life. They will give you something and a lot of examples to make you understand it better. The language is going to be easier, and the calculation is also not going to be very extensive, right? So I hope this set helped you. So it was an easy set, that's why we did not take more than 10 or 15 minutes. Well, thank you for joining. I'll see you again with another session with another DI set. Until then, take care. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.